Hello BookTube, Emmy Walker here to do another Top 5 Wednesday. I actually had no idea it was Wednesday. I usually try to get this up, the second it becomes Wednesday, and I completely forgot what day it was. So we're doing this on Wednesday, and I'm gonna have to film it all and edit it all and do all that crap all in like a span of when my son is taking a nap. So let's see how that works out. This week's topic is to pick your top 5 books with multiple points of view and to try and pick more than just 2 points of view, and I believe for all of them I was able to do just that. I think so, if I remember correctly. In my number 5 spot, I've actually chosen the Fallen Kingdom series. I don't have my copies at the moment, my sister's borrowing them, but I'm sure you've seen enough of those videos out there with the covers to know what they look like, but I believe the author is Morgan Rhodes. Yeah, and so that tells the story from 4 different perspectives. I can't remember all their names, I'm sorry. I know it's Magnus and Cleo, and then there's the rebel guy, and then some other person who I can't remember, and there's the Hawk people, which again, I can't remember the names of those actual people, but if you've read the books, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, so that definitely encompasses more than 2 points of view, which, check on the list. I believe I've mentioned in previous videos that I started off really enjoying this series, but it's kind of slowly gone downhill. Book 1 and Book 2 were amazing, and then I got to Book 3 and I'm thinking, alright, this needs to end sometime soon. We're just kind of going around in circles, back and forth between, love interests and whatever. But I know I'm going to give the author the benefit of the doubt, and I will read the next books, and hopefully it goes back up again, but I was wondering, this is probably going to need to wrap up pretty soon. How are you going to do this in 6 books? You could probably have done it in 3. In my number 4 spot, I've picked the Song of Ice and Fire series, and yes, I have finished this book. If you haven't seen my May wrap-up, I finally finished this book, and I mean, I don't know how you could not put this in. If you've read these books, I feel like that would have to be part of your multiple points of view. I mean, there's at least 7 different points of view in these books, and they just keep growing and changing, deleting some people as the books go, but, they just keep growing with the points of view, and it's crazy. And it's not even always the same title. Like, it may be, you're reading in Bran's perspective. Well, that's not a good example, but you may be reading in one person's perspective, but it's titled something completely different, and you don't know you're reading that person until you're like 3 paragraphs in. You're like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, these books are really good, and they're really dense. I always call them dense because it takes me time to read them. Maybe I'm just dense, I don't know. My pick for number 3 actually made me realize that all of my picks are for series books. I can't even think off the top of my head if there are any, standalone books that are in multiple perspectives. And if there are, let me know, because I see so few of them, or maybe I've just, have a small pool of books that I choose from. Anyway, my pick for number 3 is the I Am Number 4 series by Pittacus Lore, and this is the 4th book in the series. I don't have the 5th book with me. Again, it's on loan with my sister. She has pretty much half of my library, it seems, at least half of my favorite books libraries. That didn't make sense, but yeah, so anyway, I picked this one especially because, if I remember correctly, the first book only has 1 perspective, or maybe 2. But then as we get further along in the series and we add more people, then we get more perspectives to read from. My pick for number 2 is going to be the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. In this one we get Clary's perspective and Simon's perspective and Sebastian's perspective, and I think Chase and I can't remember who else we get. I'm sure we get Magnus, and I think we get all of like the big guys, and yeah. So that covers that, and if you don't know what this is about, then get out of that rock I keep talking about. And finally, I'm sure it will come as a surprise to absolutely nobody who watches more than one of my videos, but my top pick for the multiple points of view is going to be the Lunar Chronicles series. I didn't want to show Cinder because I think Cinder only you see Cinder's perspective and then Kai's perspective, but then as you go in further, Cress being book number 3 and the most recent in the series that is out, we get to see, I think, at least 4, possibly 6 perspectives. That might be stretching it a bit, but still, it's more than 2, and that's what matters. And these books are amazing, and just so wonderful, and I love them so much, and read it. If you haven't read it, read it. So there you have it, my top 5 Wednesday for multiple points of view picks. Sorry for the lack of videos. I have a few pre-recorded videos from like 3 or 4 weeks ago that I have in the bank. I haven't really been reading a whole lot, which is unfortunate. I hit a slump that I was anticipating hitting. I am in my first trimester of pregnancy, and it is not going as well as I would have hoped. It's going exactly the same as my last pregnancy, and I just, you know, it's really hard to read sometimes when you're nauseated, and I know you all want to hear about that, but so I'm trying to read as much as I can, and I'm basically trying to focus on my buddy read with The Name of the Wind, which I don't have with me, but I'm reading with Keely over at A Bibliophile's Journey, so I really want to make sure I get at least that one done, and that's a honker of a book, so I don't want to, you know, I'm having a hard time focusing on anything else other than what I'm, you know, forcing myself to read, even though I don't like forcing myself because it's a really good book so far. But yeah, so that's whatever. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you later, book 2. By Pittacus Lore. I just realized I didn't say, or whatever. No, if you don't know who the Song of Ice and Fire is by, then, you know, come out of the rock.